There's no excuse at this point with YouTube. There's no excuse with podcasts. There's no excuse with the easiest access of books. There's no excuse to not get out. If you're hungry, if you want it, you got to go get it. And I tell people that all the time. The money is not going to fall in your lap. You got to go get it. There's so many resources. I'm a Section 8 welfare kid, man. Like, I grew up poor. In this country, poor. Open the fridge, there was baking soda and nothing else, man. So I know what it feels like to be hungry, physically hungry, but that hunger has never left me to succeed, to be profitable, to bring value to others around me. And honestly, Hans, to do dope stuff. I've been in 45 countries in my life. I own property now in Fiji, own property in Hawaii. You know, my kids have traveled a lot, been to all over. And, you know, I didn't get on an airplane until I was almost like 20 years old. I think it was 18, 19, the first time I got on an airplane. So being able to break the cycle and give back is what this podcast is all about, what my career is about. But, you know, the point I'm going to make is you can lead a horse to water, bro. You know what I mean? But the horse has to want to drink. And so I tell people all the time, look, there are a lot of resources out there, people that want to help you, as you alluded to it as well before. Some people you pay for, some people you don't. But ultimately, I believe in coaching. I believe in mentorship. You know, I think you need to vet the mentor, guys. I'll tell you that again. I think you need to vet the coach because they're not all created equal, just like in professional sports, just like teachers that you've had in school. Some stick out, some don't. You could pay for tutors in academics. Some are going to be great, some are not. But, you know, Hans is a great guy. I don't know about his coaching program, but give him a ring, check him out. We're going to leave all of his information in the description and have a conversation with him. As you can see, he has an amazing smile, very well spoken, and I love his story, you know, coming from a place of, you know, everything was not handed to him. He had to earn it. That is the best way, essentially. I want to be taught by people who have had to earn it because I know I've had to earn it. All right. Last one here. If you don't invest, you will work until you die. This is a very common or known real estate quote. I think this is, who is this? Is this Buffett?
Warren Buffett, yeah.
Buffett. So yeah, it's a good one. Shoot that. Tell me what that means to you.
Well, basically, if we are only depending on the income that we are generating while we're awake, right, and while we're doing something, well, we won't be able to do that forever, right? There's going to come a point in our life where we just are capable of doing that, right? So if you don't want to live from welfare, right, you have to start creating something that is going to, you know, sustain you further on.
Let me jump in here. Can you imagine your life now, like not being able to invest?
No.
Like going back? I can't either. I don't think about that often, but when I stop and think about my life not being able to invest, when before it was like, oh my God, this is scary. Now it's scary not being able to invest. It's almost like, what would you do?
Yeah. It's,
you know what I mean?
Totally about that. Yeah. And I was talking to a friend of mine a few days ago, and we were talking about the movie Matrix, right? Where they give you the red pill and blue pill, right? And we took the pill, and you're like, yeah, we took the pill, right? It means now you are all worried about, hey, how do I invest this money? I just made this amount of money. And instead of thinking, I'm going to buy this amazing car or boat or whatever, it's like, hell no. How do I reproduce this? How do I put this back? How do I get another return from it?
How much juice can I get out of this cash asset I have to create more assets that are going to get me more juice so I can buy more assets that are going to get me more juice, dude? 100%. Yeah. Love it. You don't invest, you're going to work till you die. I think we hammered that one. I think, you know, go ahead and explain a little bit more. Basically, you need to invest or you're going to end up, you're going to end up either, you know, retiring with, you know, your 401k, if you have a 401k or not, and then ultimately you'll be living on Social Security if it still exists at that point, but you will no longer have the means to essentially create for yourself. The block of time where you would have had to make money on your money has now passed, and you're essentially you will become independent until you die.
Totally. And one of the things is, I've heard people say like, well, investing is risky. So I said, well, not investing is even riskier, right?
100%. I love that quote. I'm going to post that quote actually, because I put that on my LinkedIn one time and I got a good response, but I think it is kind of hot. You know, you come in kind of hot, but it's the truth, man. Like if you don't invest, yeah, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I just don't get it. We're trying to educate the people, Hans. We can't give up. We got to keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
Because once people turn the corner, like you said, and that pill's in, There's no going back, brother.
There's one thing that I always hear, right? And this is the type of advice that kills people, is like, everything is a scam. And the reality is, yes, there's a lot of scam out there, but the majority isn't, right? If you do your due diligence, it's just do a little bit of research about the people. How long have they been doing business? Who are they associated with, right? Is this business a safe business? There's tons of things you can invest in that are amazing. And if you just want to be...
The other thing too is you're not going to get a win every time.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, right? So if I'm investing in coaching, maybe as you said, you diversified, you got 3 or 4 coaches. Maybe you got a nugget. Maybe the coach didn't end up being really amazing in one, but he had an amazing group or community where you end up meeting one sponsor who becomes a mentor to you. You end up being a co-GP on one of his deals. You learn the game. Then you become, the main GP on another deal, and you're moving your way up. So look, again, I say this all the time, vet the coaching, vet the program, but you got to get going. Analysis paralysis is worse than taking an L on your way to a W.
Totally. And you'll figure it out faster if you put yourself out there and start doing it. If you figure out it's wrong, then you figure it out faster than if you stay on the sidelines and wait.
Yeah, and then your BS radar is going to be able to go off quicker.
Exactly.
You're going to be able to be like, yeah, I'm good. And then, no harm, no foul, but just not for me. And you move on. But you don't gain that knowledge. It's like dating, right? You don't really learn how to be a good dating partner or understand what a good partner would be for you unless you go on a couple dates. And then you're like, hey, yeah, this person's on their phone too much, or, I don't like the way they chew or whatever. You're going to kind of be able to find your buy box, and it goes among your assets.
I love the analogy with dating, right? It would be like you go out on a date. It was a bad date. No, I'm not dating anymore for the rest of my life. I'm going to stay alone, right?
Yeah, or someone else went on a bad date, and I'm afraid that I'm going to go on a bad date, so I'm never going to date. That's not a good philosophy.
Not at all.
Right, moving on. Let's wind this thing down. Some of your skip the line hacks, Hans, for the people. It's the premise of the pod. Basically, it's a really hot day. All the kids are in school. As soon as they let the kids out, they all rush to the first drinking fountain, and they all get in line. My thought process was, what if there's another drinking fountain right up the stairs around the corner that no one's even thinking about? Or how do I get to the front of that line legally and ethically, right? Or again, how do I create a new line and skip this entire line and get the same thing, which is water, that I want? So how do I move quicker? How do I move faster, but effectively, honestly, and legally? And, what would I do differently if you could do it all over again, basically?
So I think it all comes back down to find someone who has done what you want to achieve, right? Find someone that you look up to and you say, okay, this person has done this successfully. How can I replicate? Study that person. Look what they have done, right? Follow their processes, right? If you can get some education from them, even better, right? If you can ask them to mentor you, even better, right? And pay for mentorship. I mean, that's the easiest way to skip the line, because there's so much knowledge today, especially with so much knowledge, so much information in YouTube and social media everywhere. Which are the steps that are actually going to take you to your final destination faster, right? So I do believe today, I still have coaches that mentor me, right? I do believe that is one of the best ways. And I'm not saying that because I have a mentorship program. You can sign up with me or with anybody, right? But the reality is, if you really want to learn or reduce the learning curve, you have to talk to someone who has done already what you want to achieve. Right, I believe that is one of the best ways to skip the line.
Many people come on this podcast, and one of their skip the line hacks is mentorship. Obviously, you make money being a coach. That's great, but you also provide value. So again, I tell the people, do your research. Reach out to Hans if you're interested in multifamily, 340 units under management. I don't know how many more deals he has, but he's going to teach you from the experiences that he's had, the losses he has taken, the wins he has gained. You get access to his network, all of that. And, I don't know what his price point is, but you need to reach out and do that on your own. But I will tell you 100%, I believe in mentorship in one form or another. I have it in my life. I used to be cheap when it came to that. Oh, these guys are all trying to take my money. Once you do it, again, there's no going back, because you just need mentors. You're just going to learn so much, and you can't replace experience. And if you can learn from my own experiences, and I can learn from someone else's experiences that is more experienced than I am, Now I'm double dipping on the experience, right?
That's That's it.
Simple math. All right, that's Skip the Line hack number 1. We're going to leave Hans's information in the description. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Skip the Lines podcast. It really helps our channel get this information out to people. You guys can touch Hans at his social. He's on his email. He will be on Facebook, and we will post his website in the description. One more Skip the Line hack for the people, Hans, before we call it.
Well, I think learn how to add value. I think that is the biggest skip the line, is become valuable at something. If it's real estate or whatever, I mean, this is a real estate podcast, of course, but whatever you want to do, just become valuable to the point that people say, I want to work with you. I want you to be on my team, right? And I think that is the best way of getting to the top.
I love it, man. I love it, brother. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was great to hang with you today. And that was fun, man.
Thank you. I have this little thing here with my contact information if somebody wants to take a picture of it. Also, I know you're going to put it on the...
Put it more on the screen to your right.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Back it up a bit. Back it up. Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
That's marketing 101, guys. Come prepared. Look at Hans.
That's it. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be there.
Yeah. You gotta just keep putting it. You know what I mean?